Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. It's wonderful to be with you. My name is Amy and I'll be with you for the next few days actually. So I'm looking forward to that, and here we are starting off at the beautiful Mantis Founders Lodge where there is sunshine and some rhinos. Always lovely to start off with these beautiful animals, and lovely to see the sun is shining somewhere, nowhere near where I am in the Lowveld at the moment, although we are grateful for the rain. I know the Eastern Cape, where we are looking at right now, is in desperate need of rain, so we're hoping some gets down there too at some point. But a very warm welcome to you all. Remember that this is a live and interactive show, so please do chat to me. I'm missing you all, so you are more than welcome to send through any comments and questions that you may have. I'd love to hear from you. And let's see, I'm not sure what the show is going to hold for us today, but it is a great start here with 2 rhino. Melissa, yes, absolutely. Gorgeous rhinos never disappoint, and they're coming a bit closer to the water. It also looks like the Egyptian geese have grown significantly. We know that there was a little group here, mom, dad, and some little ones that seem to have done quite well. Almost can't tell the difference between the juveniles and the adults. Oh, this rhino on the right has an oxpecker right on its second horn. Oh, there we go. Time to have a little bit of a rest. It seems like they were lying in some sort of moist area, a little bit of darker patches there on the back sides. Let's see if this, oh, there we go. This one wanting to get a little bit cooler. Yeah, Ian, it is. It's an interesting one. Egyptian geese can be very loud and make a lot of noise. Clearly not too worried about the presence of the rhino at this stage. Maybe it is because they're just so used to the animals coming here that they know there's no need to sort of shout or get them to move off. Alright, well, from the Eastern Cape of South Africa, let's head over to Kenya and see what's happening at Oldonyo. Well, from one big grey mammal to another, here we have 2 elephant bulls that have arrived at the waterhole. Wow, well, we lost the feed there in Kenya, but my goodness, we've come to my part of the world, really, the Olifants River, not too far away. And I mean, we were talking this morning about the rivers in the area and the flooding, potential flooding that is coming or has happened already. And oh my goodness me, this is unbelievable. Just look at the power of that water. And I wish we could put a picture or footage of the river before, even let's say a few months ago or even a month ago, to show you the difference in water level. But I mean, the fact that that water is at the base of those trees where the leaves are touching the water, it's incredible. It's probably risen, I don't know, I don't want to exaggerate, but I would say at least maybe 5 meters higher. Could even be more than that. Incredible to see. And it's an interesting one when it comes to this sort of flowing with river systems and crocodiles and hippos as well. There is possibilities of them actually drowning, and or calves being separated from their moms when it comes to hippos. But likely they will try and find a calmer pool that is sort of isolated on the side of a river, or a little sort of offshoot from the river itself, where the waters are more calm and still, rather than, of course, trying not to be caught up in the flow. Otherwise, survival can be limited. Yeah, Lex, absolutely. This is definitely the Olifants in all its glory. I mean, there are trees that are flowing down the river. It's just incredible to see that much power. There we go. That's a tree, for example, that I was talking about. It's crazy stuff, and I think until you actually see it for yourself, it is difficult to sort of imagine what it might look like. But yeah, some of the footage that's coming out of the Kruger at the moment, it's unbelievable. I mean, I visit the Kruger very regularly, and to see, especially the Lower Sabi bridge that crosses the Sabi River. I mean, I've driven that hundreds of times, and to sit and see that where you can't actually see the bridge anymore. The river's just flowing and sort of has this drop off on the one side. It's unreal to think about, and how the water level, it rises gradually, and then all of a sudden it just is like, how did this happen? It seemingly happened overnight. But the water, the millimeters that have rained, so there was actually a question about that, and from Raw, if I know exactly how much has fallen in the past week. So I believe that a rain gauge in Hoedspruit, which is sort of the closest town in this greater region. Palabor would be the next one after that, much closer to the Olifants. But you're looking at about, up until basically yesterday, 110 millimeters. But today and tomorrow is actually forecast with the heaviest rain, and today is at least 100 millimeters on its own that may fall. it's incredibly hard rain that comes through. It's not constantly very hard, but it does come through in waves to the point where you can hardly see outside. It's just like this mist that's coming down. And I was looking at some of the graphs today as well, with the movement of basically the precipitation graphs from different weather sources, and it looks like there's a very heavy for lack of a better word, cloud that's over coming towards Phalaborwa, which is very close to where the Olifants is, and that is actually moving south. Well, it's predicted to move south, which is towards Hoedspruit, and then further east would be towards where Sandringham and Chitwa are. And so that will bring, as I say, severe rain and possible flooding, which, as you can see, is very possible with what we can see here. All right, well, from here, everybody, we are going to head over to Zimbabwe, to Ohangé National Park. Well, this is a little bit calmer, isn't it? We have some beautiful wildebeest with their little ones, as well as a lovely zebra that is feeding away. Glynis, thank you for that update. So Tsenin is another town that's in the area around Hoedspruit and Phalaborwa, and you say that it has 217 mils recorded since the 1st of January, which is basically in the last 2 weeks. A significant portion of that would have happened in this last week. And the dam wall near that town, I saw footage of that sort of open and flowing, and it's just incredible, the power of the water. Even in the Blyde River Canyon, there's areas like Burke's like potholes that's actually closed because the water's just too high and too rapid and dangerous for people to go and actually visit that now. And there's certain parts of the Kruger that have been evacuated as well, and certain parts of it are not accessible because bridges have flooded and things like that. So I think most important always is everybody's safety, and everyone's playing their part in that so far, which is good to hear. It's nice to see some more zebras here though, and everyone's looking very relaxed here in Zimbabwe. So beautiful and green as well. Alrighty, well, from the zebra and wildebeest, we're going to head back over to those rhinos. Oh, well, some more have arrived. This is cool. Looks like there's actually 5 here, because I think there's a baby in the background. Well, just behind this one that's standing up in the water. Leo, so when it comes to full-grown white rhinos, you're looking at basically the weight of anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 tons and a little bit more for some bulls. The females generally are weighing about 1.8 to 2 tons, and the males will be like I said, 2.5 even up to 3 tons, some really large individuals. So that's sort of the weight. The black rhino is a lot smaller, and you're looking at some cows even weighing less than a ton, about 800-900 kilograms, and some of the bulls reaching about 1.3 tons or so. So yeah, the size difference is quite significant when it comes to the two species in comparison to one another. So Ava, that's a very interesting question, and it is said generally that white rhinos are more gregarious or social than black rhinos. There are exceptions to these cases where multiple black rhinos have been seen in groups, but yes, generally speaking, you do find that white rhinos, if they are in areas where their numbers are plentiful enough, which is rare these days, but there are some places where it can happen, then you do see that they hang out together more so than black rhino on observation basis. And the reason for that, I think, is a lot to do with habitat. They are, and probably the fact that they're bigger animals maybe as well. I mean, it could work both ways, but the black rhino tends to stick to thicker, more vegetated habitats because of what it eats. And so in those thickets and sort of more bushy areas, it would be quite difficult, I suppose, to be in groups, in thickets. They live a more solitary life. That's what they've adapted to doing, whereas with the white rhinos being grazers, they're out in the open, it's more easy for them to hang out together, that sort of thing. So that's my take on it, Ava. There could be other reasons that play a part of that, but also it could be their natural temperament that they have, even comparing, let's say, leopards and lions to each other. Okay, well, from here we're going to head over to the Lowveld now, where there are some impala at Naledi. Well, this is actually quite lovely. You can see the rain is falling here, but the impalas are out doing their thing. Animals still have to live and carry on with life. So they do need food even in the rain, and so they continue to feed and that sort of thing. Looks like a crested barbet there walking on the ground. And what is, I suppose, making it more tolerable, I suppose, to see animals out and why they would still be moving, is that there's not really any wind. Every now and again.
Step into the exciting world of the original science. Next September, Master Tracker Renus Mhlongo and Wild Earth's Steve Falconbridge lead a spectacular safari through the Kruger, where you'll learn to identify tracks and then trail iconic big game on foot. Days are spent immersed in the field, evenings around the fire sharing stories, from the hair-raising to the hilarious. This is the ultimate wild immersion for the nature connoisseur.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every safari live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
So Ethan, when it comes to, impalas staying warm and dry, they don't stay necessarily dry. I think that their coats and covering do help them to stay warm. And as I said, the temperature is actually not that cold. It's still about 21, 22 degrees. It's incredibly humid as well. So there's a lot of moisture in the air. And, the impalas, as with any of the animals, zebra, giraffe, they will definitely be wet. In terms of the actual saturation of their fur, if that sort of goes all the way down to their skin, or if their coarser hair on the outside manages to be super compact, so it's almost like runs off, without seeping in, which would be ideal for them, therefore also helping to maintain body temperature and not get too cold. they definitely can handle it. I mean, we don't see the animals, or like, you know, a mass of carcasses with you know, dying of hypothermia or something like that. So they must be able to still stay warm even if they're not completely dry. Jane, you say the rain must help the predators a lot. So I definitely think it plays to their advantage, their favor, in terms of the scent of the rain. You know, animals don't move as much, perhaps. So there's definitely advantage to the rain for, let's say, something like a leopard or a lion. I know wild dogs sort of carry on as normal, unless it's really hard drenching rain that actually it makes it difficult to see or something like that. They will then wait for when it gets a little bit lighter, relatively speaking. So, you know, the predators still need to hunt, they still need to eat, so all of that continues. Generally though, if it's shorter spells of rain, you know, they might choose, because they don't necessarily always want to get wet, especially for, let's say, leopards and lions, although it is what it is. I think, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to do what they need to do, and so if there's an opportunity, they'll take it, even if they do sort of lie under a bush in cover for most of it. And then if they're like, I'm actually really hungry now, or that's a opportunity to go hunting unsuspecting prey species in the area, then they'll take that opportunity, you know, no matter what the weather is doing. Silly Jilly, yes, absolutely. I think the Magnoleti is definitely flowing. My goodness, I honestly do not think that there is a drainage line, dry riverbed, stream, trickle place where water can flow that is not flowing in the Lowveld at the moment. Can see when an impala shakes out its fur. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but there's been two that have done it, and it's almost like when a dog sort of does their shaking after coming in from the rain or swimming in the sea or something like that, or having a swim in the pool, and then they have this sort of cloud of water droplets that come out. Oh, the few more have done it now. Just shows how much water is actually collecting on them. Alright, well, we are going to go check in at Comfortsdam. Wow, well, it has been a while since we've popped over here, well, at least for me. And it's nice to see the birds are here. It looks like there are some gulls. Definitely some, I think those are shell ducks in the background. Is that an avocet? Ooh. That black and white bird that was closest to the camera looked a little bit different. There's definitely blacksmith lapwings, but the pied avocet is slightly different. It's got a very interesting bill, and of course with the coloration as well. Garth, you say the flamingos have changed. Yeah, it is interesting how they can transform like this, isn't it? From sort of pink and tall to white and small. Oh, there's also a red-knobbed coot there. It had its bill tucked away, so I was just checking whether it was a moorhen or a coot, but it is indeed a red knobbed coot. So there was a black and white bird. It looks very much at first glance like a blacksmith lapwing, but it is slightly different. And we're going to hopefully see if we can find it there, because it's quite a special one to see. All right, let's head over to Lentor now. Well, here we are with some baboons that are passing by. Don't we love to see them when they come past and have a drink? Always entertaining. Definitely a little bit of a disagreement going on there, my goodness. Eric, you are wanting to know what is a biome. So a biome is a word we use to describe a sort of area that shares a particular type of climate. So it's usually quite a large area, so it's places that can be used. And in South Africa, there's actually 9 distinctive biomes, and for example, forests or deserts, grasslands, we've got savanna, and then other areas is like tundra, for example. So those are basically what biomes are. It can be highly varied within those biomes, but it still falls into the greater category based on its distinctive climate and certain species that exist in those places. Samulo, you are asking which is the biggest river that flows through the Kruger. So I suppose it does depend what you mean by biggest, but if you mean longest by biggest, it would be the Limpopo, which is it forms the northern boundary of the Kruger National Park with Mozambique and Zimbabwe. And that river length is 1,750 kilometers, whereas the Sabi is 230, the Olifants is 560, for example. So they're all quite a lot less if you're referring to that. But I think all the rivers get quite wide, actually. So, they all can carry quite a large capacity of water in that way, but lengthwise it is the Limpopo. Ethan, that's an interesting one. How do baboon troops decide where to go every day? So I think troops do have particular routines and areas that they hang out in, and they often have certain trees that they roost in, and certain troops will use those trees regularly, if not every single night, or have a few within a certain area that they will use regularly. I do think it's sort of decided by the leaders of the troop, so whether that's the most dominant males and even females that sort of will lead and decide a direction, an area. But I think the troop gets very familiar with the daily routine and areas that they generally visit. Okay, let's head over to Tau. Wow, well, I don't know when last I've seen a buffalo at Tau. I'm trying to think. But it's not something that we normally see here, if I'm not mistaken. And this is very cool. I mean, that just looks like the place to be, doesn't it? My goodness. Oh yeah, that is, oh, I mean, he is just loving that. Oh my goodness. He just can't get enough, my goodness. Oh my word. This is the best buffalo wallowing I think I've ever seen. When his legs go up like that, it almost looks like he's struggling to get back over again. But he's done well. I mean, that's a pretty solid coating of the whole body. Grace, you're asking if oxpeckers benefit from buffaloes wallowing. So actually probably not. I would say that if anything, the wallowing actually kills and removes ticks, meaning that there's less food for the oxpeckers. So probably not helpful for them in terms of what they are after. This buffalo is just, I mean, he must have really needed this wallow. I can only imagine he must have been, I don't know, something maybe really scratching him or causing itchiness, but also just to cool down, I guess. It looks like a warm day. I tell the sun is shining, so it must be nice. There seems to be a bit of a breeze in the air too. So after all of that, to have that wind blow on you, it must feel really good. Marinda, hello. You are wanting to know if a croc is out the water, basking in the sun, would it try and catch an impala if it's walking by, or only try and catch something in the water? So crocodiles are definitely capable of hunting on land. Their best and most successful means, from what I understand about their sort of way of hunting and that sort of thing, would be to do so in the water, because they can be so sneaky and blend in and disappear so easily and really take their unsuspecting prey, catch them off guard, as it were. But that doesn't mean that they won't hunt on land. And I mean, if they are super well camouflaged and that impala comes too close, it could definitely take a lunge and try and grab it. But that's really as far as it's going to get. Realistically, a croc is not going to chase down an impala unless it's injured or something like that, because the impala would just hop, skip and jump away very quickly in comparison to how quickly a crocodile would be able to move. So it's definitely possible, Marinda, but their sort of niche, I would say, is that sort of lying in the shallow or even the quite deep water, but near the edge, and then jumping out and being able to grab something that has its head or its leg too close to them. But they are capable, definitely, of hunting on land.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Best sighting I've presented, I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala, we got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
I love how there is just always a stream of ellies here. It never ceases. There's always another one on its way coming to or going from this area. Jacks, they definitely prefer clean water. Elephants are some of the most, I would say, fussy is probably one of the better words to describe it. Although, you know, they just being in that way, why not choose the cleaner water to drink than the muddy stuff? If they prefer it, it probably doesn't taste too nice. It's also probably a bit gritty on the teeth. So, you know, if the fresh is available, fresh and clean, then they will definitely choose that. And I've seen that more with elephant than any other species. I don't know if anyone watching the show today has seen that sort of clear differentiation with another species of animal in terms of drinking in one place and wallowing in another. Whereas elephants, you can see here, they're gathering around the inlet pipe for where water is being fed. I think there's a little trough there, and so they all come and drink there. And then when they want to splash around, they move to sort of the natural water that's a little bit muddier. And this elephant is doing exactly that right now. So he has moved from sort of drinking area now to the more muddy area where he's splashing himself with that mud. Alright, well, from these elephants, let's head back over to Kenya and see what's happening at Oldonyo. Oh, this is cool. We've got another troop of baboons. Such a nice view of all of them arriving here. Wow, there are some big ones in between. Oh, there's two really small ones there at the back. Baby baboons are just the cutest. My goodness. And these little ones still have a little bit of black on their heads, so I'm thinking they are just sort of at that 8-week, 2 months old mark. So David, I stand to be corrected, but I think they are the same olive baboons. These may be the yellow ones, but I do know that in some areas there has been a bit of crossbreeding, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, those are the two species that you get in East Africa. These would not be the same as the species that we would see in Southern Africa. That is only the chakma baboon. Definitely looked like he wanted to mate with this female. Oh, she is in heat. Look at that. Quite a swollen back. Oh, wow. He just pulled her on the tail. Oh, my goodness. It's like you're not going anywhere. Yeah, Jasmine, it does look coarse. Oh, there's a giraffe that's arrived. Lovely. But yes, when it comes to these baboons, their fur is quite coarse in that way, I think, just to be able to handle the elements out here. It might be softer closer to the body. Emma, I definitely think that baboons are quite self-aware, and we've actually seen it at Lentor where a baboon saw its reflection, and I think at first it was a little bit like, is this a threat? But then it realized, oh, it's my reflection. Whereas if you look at something like a bird, particularly southern ground hornbills or Egyptian geese or something like that, they react like they are fighting this reflection themselves, before realizing, oh, I'm just tapping into glass or a mirror or something. This isn't actually another bird. So I do think baboons are able to recognize the fact that it is a reflection of themselves, rather than another individual. Alright, let's head over to some beautiful crowned cranes. Well, this is, it's so beautiful. There's also a marabou stork there, but it can't really compete with these grey crowned cranes, I'm afraid, in terms of beauty. They steal the show, these two. seems like it's quite the windy day here in Zimbabwe as well. You can see a little bit of the shaking, and I think that is from the wind. Eagle lover, you would like to know, how the floods will affect wildlife survival of cubs in the Kruger Park and surrounding areas. So it will definitely impact them. Cub survival rate is already very low, and there's various reasons for that. One of it being that there are times of flood and just elements that can mean that those cubs die. Now, that's not to say that that is going to happen, but it is, you can imagine if the lioness has stashed her cubs in a riverbed, especially when they're very, very small, and all of a sudden there's a flash flood, those cubs will drown before mom can get back to them, because she has to go off and hunt and feed and that sort of thing. So yes, it does impact survival. It won't, in other words, the sort of the percentages that we look at in terms of survival already would have taken that into account. So in terms of flooding or anything like that, in terms of any young really that are in burrows or denning, where those can get flooded as well, will also mean that those little ones won't survive. So it's all part of it. Sad to think about, of course, but yes, it will mean that there will possibly be little ones that won't make it through the floods. Okay, well, while these birds move off, let's head back over to Founders. And our rhinos are here and moving a little bit. Also seems to be some birds in this tree. I think they are crows. We've seen a few crows on the ground here previously, the Cape crows that are completely black in color. Oh, that little rhino, not so little I suppose anymore, trying to suckle there from mum. And there's also some zebras that are sticking out. There was actually a question earlier regarding rhino calves and how long they are dependent on mom. So they can suckle for up to around 18 months or so, sometimes even longer than that if they're given the opportunity. But generally by then mom would be expecting her next calf or very close to. So that's why the suckling she pushes the one off, or she actually is not producing milk anymore. But then by about 3 years or so, she would have her next calf, and so that young rhino would have to become independent of her. It's actually sort of forced to become independent. She'll actually shoo it away. I've seen that happen multiple times. It'll still sort of sometimes hang out on the periphery, but eventually have to move on. So Caleb, when it comes to the crowned cranes, they are generally resident in an area, not sort of major migrants. They do move seasonally from area to area, of course dependent on resources like food and water. Alright, well, we are going to head back over to Lentor, where I believe the baboons are still around. Well, hello everyone. We've come over here to Stony Point, and how cute are these dassies? Always sweet to see. Oh, a little bit of stretching. Oh, look at those cute little feet. They are very interesting feet, and part of sort of why they are closely related, or said to be closely related to elephants, is part of their foot structure, and the way those sort of toes are with the pads, and yeah, it's very interesting. But I remember I used to have Jack Russells growing up, and they also used to lie sort of with their legs out on their bellies, and this reminds me of that.
Join me at Mabula Private Game Reserve from 6 to 11 May 2026 for a 5-night private safari for just 6 guests. Just incredibly exciting. Enjoy guided walks, take part in rhino conservation efforts, and explore Mabula's beautiful landscapes from open plains to rocky hills, alive with birds, animals, and vibrant plant life.
My full name is Mpho Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said dog. Okay, no, wait. My first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was this Cedric when we had Mulwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Well, it looks like this Dussie's tucked its interesting toes away, and we're gonna head back over to some rhino and zebra at Founders. Well, a lovely view. I do love a rhino bum, I must say. It's not bad to see. At least it is a rhino. I'm always grateful, and it always blows my mind just how wide they are. You don't get always that width, especially on a side view, but when they are front or back, you see just how wide they can be from side to side. Oh, Jackie, you say zebra bums are the best in your opinion. Maybe we'll have to find out a few more of your thoughts out there. Best bums in the bush. That could be a whole series, I feel. But if you have a favorite, please do let me know. Alright, well, another bum that might be your favorite is that of an elephant, so let's head over to one now. Oh, gotta get the ankle scratch in too. I know that feeling, Mr. Elephant, when there's just that like on the side of the foot, you know. You gotta get that spot. Sandy, you say that elephant bums are the best for you. They do rank pretty highly, I must say. There's something about them that, you know, they have a certain look to them. Not the firmest, I would say, but I think that's what makes them so iconic. And he's off, very quickly deciding it's time to move. Stephen, you say warthog bums are your choice. They do have a great rear end, you know, the way they sort of run off with that straight up tail. I believe there was a little bit of a whirlwind here that we wanted to show you, you know, where sort of like a mini tornado, I suppose, is the most accurate description, where the wind sort of swirls and kicks up dust and it passes through. We do actually see that happening quite a bit here at Founders, that it does pass through like that. I can just see the ears of a rhino popping up over the edge there. Okay, well, Rory, you say you love watching a family of elephants walking away with their bums swaying. Let's head over to a herd of elephants now at Menoakwena. Well, Rory, it's like they definitely got your request. Well, it's always interesting to have a herd of elephants together, the dynamic, some of the little ones in between. Well, from elephants, we are going to head over to some warthogs that are at Tembe. Oliver, you want to know if lone bull elephants drink differently to that of family herds at waterholes. I suppose there can be somewhat of a difference, not so much in how they do it. An elephant, pretty much, unless they have some sort of damage to their trunk, will drink in the same way, sucking up the water into the trunk and then depositing it into the mouth. But what does differ is, I find, mostly the length of time that they will spend at a waterhole. Bulls tend to stay for a very long time drinking. In fact, they could be there the whole entire day and just move away a little bit and come back. No real rush whatsoever. Herds tend to be a lot quicker. I think it may be because they're sort of out in the open, they might feel vulnerable with their little ones. It could be that they need to move on for feeding purposes or resting purposes for the little ones. I don't know, there could be lots of different motivations. Or it could also be sometimes because other herds are moving in or want to come to the waterhole, and there's communication there, and the other herds move off. Whereas bulls seem to just take their time, no rush. A herd won't ever really, from what I've seen, I mean there's always exceptions, but most of the time they make their way to the waterhole, they have their drink and their swim and whatever it is they want to do, and then within probably 15 to 20 minutes at most, they already moving off again. Caleb, you would like to know if warthogs sometimes charge vehicles or people on safari. So generally, Caleb, no. Warthogs are animals that will most of the time just run away with any sort of noise or movement, unless they have become very habituated. But even in areas like the Sabi Sands, where there's a lot of movement and exposure to vehicles, they can still be very skittish because of, being a prey species and how often they are hunted. But in other areas where they are not sort of a main source of prey, they can become very relaxed around cars and even people. But that's not to say they are not potentially dangerous animals, especially if you are sort of in front of a warthog burrow unknowingly. They might charge out in panic, and you can, get seriously injured, or possibly, I suppose, even killed if their tusks are extremely sharp. If they land in the wrong area, it can happen. So one always has to be cautious, but generally we're not looking at them sort of charging vehicles or people on foot. let's head over to some cuteness at, I think, Stony Point. Oh, sweet. Well, we did see Mom, and I think there were 4 little ones with her the other day. They didn't stick around for too long, but here we've got, well, I think there looks like a little foot underneath there. So there's at least 2. I think the third one is just above that one by the rock. And there was actually a question about the mammary glands from Karen earlier. And she wanted to know, is it true that they have a pair sort of at the armpits? Yes. So I believe that Dussies have 3 pairs of sort of teats or mammary glands, 1 in the front and 2 near the back. So yes, they can accommodate their little ones suckling from both between the front and towards the back legs. Lovely. Well, it's always good to do some birding. Let's head over to Finch. There is a beautiful African fish eagle. And it must be looking out over maybe some water nearby. Lila, you want to know if hyraxes or the dussies that we were just looking at really regulate their body temperature like reptiles by basking in the sun? No. So dussies are not reptiles, and they regulate their own body temperature, being mammals. So reptiles are exothermic, meaning that they need the energy from the environment to help warm up their bodies, essentially. Whereas dussies, I think, just like lying in the sun, because I mean, I enjoy lying in the sun sometimes, and I think especially when you're living in some rock crevices that can be very sort of damp and cold, especially overnight, it's a great way to sort of wake up in the morning and just enjoy the sunshine, because you know later on you're going to have to go back into that cold place in the rocks. So I think that is why they, you know, do exhibit similar behavior to a reptile, but they are not reptiles.
we'll see you out on safari. Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! Whoa! This is action-packed.
My full name is Emojis. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I went to camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, I'm very fast.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
All right, we are going to head over to Tao. I do apologize for that, everybody, but we are back and very happy to be here with you. I was just looking very closely at this mound and I said, I'm sure I see some movement, and it is in fact an elephant. I can see that now. Sort of its spine is sticking out on the right, and as it's breathing you can see the movement of the body. There we go, there's a trunk. My goodness. Hello there. Thank you for identifying yourself for us. Oh, Tennis, what a question. That is such an impossible thing to answer for me. You know, if I had to choose between bush and sea or bush and beach, it really is difficult, because the bush, of course, is my passion, and I'm fortunate that that's also my work, and my life really revolves around it in many ways, and I'm able to live in a place that I love. But I grew up on the coast, and a place that is very much home for me is a place in the Transkei where I've grown up going to. And so that feeling that I get when I go into the Kruger is the same feeling that I get when I go to the Transkei, in terms of wilderness and just simplicity and peace and everything that is, you know, where you just want to get away from it all. Let me put it that way, the hustle and bustle of life and busyness and work and things like that. So it's a very difficult one for me to choose. There's certain times where I feel like the bush and I feel like the beach, and December is a time where I feel like the beach and I want to be able to go to the Transkei and be there. But then there's times of the year in sort of like April, May, and in sort of maybe September or so, where I really feel like if I'm going to have a break, I want to be in the bush. So yes, it really is something that I wouldn't be able to honestly say one is my preference over the other. But work-wise and in terms of my passion, it will always be the bush. So that is definitely number one. But in terms of relaxing time, I still love to go to the bush, but I do enjoy the sea as well. Tony, it's a fantastic view. I mean, we are being spoiled by this elephant. All the greenery around here at Tau, it is such a perfect picture. Wow, well, I'm so glad that this elephant could cool off and be comfortable to be able to carry on feeding here. Wow, everyone, I can't believe that we're at the end of the show. It really has flown by today. We've had so much to see and some lovely chats with you all. Wow, thank you to everybody for being so engaging with your comments and your questions. It's so wonderful and it makes the show so much more. So we really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who sent them through. And yes, we will be back tomorrow. I will be back with you for another Live at the Waterhole show. So I'm looking forward to that and being able to spend a little bit more time with you all, since we are not out on drive at the moment. Hopefully though, we will be able to join in here and there to say hello from the tents like we did in a morning drive. So hopefully I will be able to see you again. But until then, everybody, we wish you a pleasant rest of your day or evening, depending where you are in the world. And like I say, we will be back tomorrow. See you then, everyone. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.